I've served my country.
find your
I've served my country. I've served my country for 34 years.
I find your comments
This is out of
disgusting
control.
as well.
I've served my country for 34 years, and yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms. In back of that tractor trailer, I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life were like, and I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Congress Flash. Today we break down what happens when policy, politics, and raw emotion collide in a congressional hearing. Today, I'm breaking down a heated exchange that took place when former ICE Director Thomas Homan faced off against lawmakers questioning the Trump-era immigration policies, specifically the controversial family separation at the border. This hearing was explosive. There were accusations of racism, questions about integrity, and even a heartbreaking story of a deceased child. Let's walk through the key moments that made this hearing one of the most intense we've seen. It all started with a congressional hearing where Thomas Homan was called to testify.
These egregious
He's the former
and cruel
acting
conditions and policies are not accidental. Mr. Homan, during your time as acting ICE Director, deterrence was the order of the day for you. The memo bears that out. Exactly what you planned for. The Trump administration claimed they had no choice but to rip children from their parents because they were criminally prosecuting the parents pursuant to zero-tolerance policy. Again, and policies that the administration created and that you, Mr. Homan, accepted, enforced, and championed, as we've seen. Let me remind everyone that the Trump administration tried to ban asylum seeking and started the process of metering, which then prevents people from coming through legal ports of entry. That exacerbated the crisis. People are desperately waiting months just to get in line and be granted the inalienable rights to due process. Mr. Homan, you have said that most immigrants are, quote, not criminals other than the criminal act that they do when they enter the country illegally. That is why I think we ought to revisit decriminalizing desperation, striking sections 1325 and 1326 of Title VIII of the U.S. Code, the statutes that the administration has leveraged to separate thousands of children from their families. Mr. Homan, do you understand that the consequences of separation of many children will be lifelong trauma and carried across generations? Have we not learned from the internment of Japanese Americans? Mr. Homan, I'm a father. Do you have children? How can you possibly allow this to happen under your watch? Do you not care? Is it because these children don't look like children that are around you? I don't get it. Have you ever held a deceased child in your arms?
First of all, your comments are disgusting. I've served my country.
I've served my
country for 34 years.
I find your comments
this is out of
disgusting
control.
as well.
I've served my country for 34 years, and yes, I held a 5-year-old boy in my arms. In back of that tractor trailer, I knelt down beside him and said a prayer for him because I knew what his last 30 minutes of his life were like, and I had a 5-year-old son at the time. What I've been trying to do my 34 years serving my nation is to save lives. So for you to sit there and insult my integrity and my love for my country and for children, that's why this whole thing needs to be fixed.
He's the former acting director of ICE, and during his time in office, he enforced policies under the Trump administration that sparked national outrage. Right out of the gate, a Congress member slammed the family separation policy. They called it intentional, cruel, and held Homan personally accountable for pushing and defending it. This wasn't just policy critique, it was personal. The debate quickly shifted from enforcement to legality and ethics. The speaker argued that policies like zero tolerance, criminalizing border crossings under sections 1325 and 1326, and metering at legal ports all contributed to human suffering.
And you're the member of
We
Congress.
agree on that.
Fix it.
We agree on that, but I disagree. But I also disagree with your characterization of immigrants as prone to criminality.
People for 3 decades on this.
Gentleman's time has expired. It's my time now.
Mr. Chairman,
It's my time.
the gentleman ripped off about 7 different questions designed to go at the character of Mr. Homan, and Mr. Homan should be given a chance to respond. It was ridiculous, the way he just rattled them all off and wouldn't let him respond to them.
Let me say this. I understand that, but first of all, I'm going to have civility in my hearings. All right? No,
I agree.
I have the floor.
I understand, and I agree with you.
I'm going to have civility. That's why I was banging, so that we could hear each person speak. I have been very courteous and very kind. Now, Mr. Homan, do you have something to say?
No one in this room has seen what I've seen in my 34-year career.
Very well.
No one has experienced what I've experienced. I've saw many dead bodies coming across this border. And you want to talk about the memo? This memo is one option to stop death. Not just about enforcing the law, stop death. If you want to legalize illegal immigration, good luck with that, because it's going to get a hell of a lot worse on that border. If you say, well, okay, from now on, there will be no consequence, no deterrence. It's not illegal to come to this country illegally. More families would come. 31% women would be raped. More children would die. We're a nation of laws. If you don't like it, sir, change it. You're the legislator. I'm the executive branch, and I've served my country honorably for 34 years. And I will not sit here and have anybody say that I don't care about children because you're not the same color as my children.
Thank you very much. It is my time.
Then, it got even more intense. The congressperson questioned whether the policy would have been the same if the children affected looked like Homan's own. It was a heavy implication that race may have played a role in the policy decisions. This clearly hit a nerve. Now here's where everything shifted. Visibly emotional, Homan defended himself. He talked about his 34 years of service and told a heartbreaking story, holding a 5-year-old deceased migrant child in his arms, kneeling beside him in a tractor trailer, and praying for him. He made it clear, this wasn't just a policy to him, it was personal. He insisted that the memo and the enforcement actions were about saving lives, not harming families. That kind of raw emotion is rare in these settings, and it changed the tone in the room. Let's talk about roles and responsibilities. Homan emphasized that Congress makes the laws. He said, if lawmakers don't like the results, they should change the laws instead of blaming those tasked with enforcing them. And when things got too heated, the committee chair stepped in to restore order, demanding civility and allowing Homan to respond fully after being hit with a rapid-fire round of accusations. This was about more than just policy. It was a battle over power, accountability, and narrative. If you're finding this breakdown insightful, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I cover moments like this every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. In the final part of the exchange, Homan delivered a grim warning. He said removing deterrence would only make things worse. More deaths, more rapes, and more human suffering at the border. His message was clear. Enforcement saves lives. And he wasn't done. He flat out rejected the accusation that he was indifferent to non-white children. Calling it offensive and baseless, he defended his integrity and his love for his country. No matter where you stand on this issue, this exchange put everything out in the open: emotion, policy, pain, and politics. That hearing was more than just headlines. It was a reflection of where we are as a country in dealing with immigration, justice, and humanity. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with Homan's defense? Or do you think lawmakers were right to challenge him this hard? Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative, and subscribe for more unfiltered analysis of the biggest moments in politics, law, and government. See you in the next one.